Welcome back to another week of Composition 3. This week, week 7, we have a new creativity challenge, one that will stretch your imaginations and with some rhythm as well as style. And then also we get a fun rock and roll song to compose along with. So let's get started with the creativity challenge first. This is Soldier's March for trumpet and snare drum. So in this one, what we want to do, we want to compose a short march for the trumpet and the snare drum. So marches are typically written in 2/4 time. They use very precise rhythm. For the trumpet melody, we're going to use also a C major scale. Now, if we remember this, a C major scale goes from like middle C to high C, all in a row here. Now, when we put it in and we talk about a scale, that's the notes are all in order here: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. But we don't have to use them in order. That's the thing about this one also. If you do use a scale, the notes of a scale, we don't have to put them just in order. We can actually skip around a little bit. Now, one more thing we might also want to try in this one is to get a little bit more military-like sound and use the notes that a bugle can play. Now, what's a bugle? Well, a bugle is like a trumpet in many, many ways. In fact, a trumpet can be like a bugle, but a bugle does not have the valves that a trumpet would have. And so it can change notes, but it can only change to certain notes. And we actually hear this in uh, well, certain songs like taps or revelry. Okay, and the notes that they can play and the notes that they do play on this are what we call the arpeggio or the chord. So it'd be a C chord. So C, E, G. Those are all skips apart. And then also we have a C up top. We actually skip over two notes, the A and the B, to get the notes that the bugle would play. So that's another option for you as you choose notes on this one. Now, also with the rhythm, we want to get some very precise rhythms on this one. Um, so we want to learn a little bit more about some different rhythms. We want to get some 16th notes in there. Now I'm going to actually jump over here to my third example here. We have a quarter note that just gets one beat, and then we have 4/16th notes. Now if you haven't seen these before, all it is that we take one beat and we put four notes in the space of that one beat. The way we would count this, it'd be 1, 2, E, and like that. And this would be, 1, 2 for the half note here. It would sound like this: 1, 2, E, and a 1, 2. Now, we will also take these 16th notes and we won't always play four of them in a row. Sometimes we'll play two of them in a row. So here we get an eighth note and two 16th notes. So we count this 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2. Okay. Sometimes, however, we're going to chop off this one as well, and we add a dot to this first eighth note. And so this is a pretty special one because we can play 1, a 2. So the other 16th notes in here are essentially silent, and we only get that fourth one on the end of the beat. So this one would be 1, 2. And so it's a very precise rhythm, very, very trumpet-like and in many ways, very snare drum-like in many ways as well. Now, one more thing to think about on this one is when we compose for the snare drum, that's what S drum stands for, we can do all the same rhythms that we can do in the trumpet. There's one exception though. Sometimes when we get a half note, you'll see these little lines over the stem of it, and this is a drum roll. Now, in order to get this one, you'll have to kind of go up here to the rhythm, and you see where it says tremolo 1, 2, and 3, and that's what it'll be. So, or you can actually do it with the roll. It looks like it actually has a little Z over it. I don't think that was there when I made this assignment. So what you want to do on this one is have fun with it. It's only 8 measures long. Remember back to composition 1 and 2, kind of the two-part melody. So we want to use the first 4 measures as part 1 and then the second 2 measures as part 2. One hint on this one, for your trumpet, I would compose the trumpet part first. Remember, on this one, since we're using a C scale, start on a C. Whoops, there we go. You can do low C or, well, middle C or high C, doesn't matter. In this one, with a longer note on a G, you might want to do like a whole note there. Where's my, there we go. Um, oh, right. I can't do a whole note there. I have to do a half note because we're in 2/4 time. Now on this part, start with a G and then end with a C half note, okay? That'll help you have some continuity to it so that there's like a beginning section and then it has an ending section as well. Now, same thing also goes with the rhythm here, and this will be a little bit more, well, it works for the trumpet and for the snare drum as well. And you want to have short notes lead to long notes. And so here you might want to start off with a rhythm, you know, real easy, dot, 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 dot. Let's do this. Let's copy paste these ideas. Okay. Dot, dot, dot. And then I'm going to do my half note here. And I'm actually going to do my roll here. And let's see what this sounds like here. You'll hear the rhythm since I don't have much trumpet. There we go. Obviously, I changed. There we go. Let's try that again. Okay. And so it had kind of an ending there, didn't it? And then one more thing that I might try here is I might try to come into it where I do a half note here. Let's do a half note. I'll add the roll there as well. There we go. But then here, what I'm going to do, let's make these 16th notes. And then, so you'll hear how the short notes right here lead to the long note here. See? And that's how it'll come to a nice end with it. So have fun with this one. Do your best with it. There's no wrong way of doing it, remember. But there's some clues on it. You know, start on C, end with G, start on G, end with C. Short notes lead to long notes. Those are the two principles that we want to kind of take away from this creativity challenge. Okay, now on to Camp Rock. That's our other assignment for this week. This is something that you can have a lot of fun with, it's essentially a rock band. So we have our tenor sax, guitar, electric bass, and a drum set. Now, I composed most of this for you, and it even has melody to it and everything in the tenor sax. Your job is to compose some melody when we get to here, measure 13, and start doing some melody here through the first ending and then the second ending as well. See where there's blank measures there? You get to compose the melody there, and then right here at measure 30, I go back to my original melody that I put in there. Now, part of the challenge with this one is you want to make sure that you're composing music in the style that the song's written in already. Also, you want to compose in the same key that we're in. So we're in the key of C, which is kind of nice, right? No sharps, no flats. I did use a flat here. You could use a B flat if you really wanted to in your melodies. And but that would be about it. You don't have to use any other accidentals in this one. Now, one more thing. Let me play it for you, and then I'll give you some other pointers on this one. So let's play it. So it starts with a bass riff or an ostinato, right? See, and then the melody comes in here. This is your part. This is where you want to compose. See how it's kind of empty right here? And then there's a repeat. Goes back to measure 5 there. Okay, here's your part again. Now, you would have already written this part out. It's going to go to the second ending this time. You keep going with your melody. It changed the rhythm a little bit, didn't it? Yeah, that's okay. It's a different section, so you come up with a different melody. All right, so this section's coming to a close, and we're going to end it with that first melody that I wrote in. this is your melody. Now you can create something new here, or you can copy paste what you did before at the end of that first part. And that's the song. So hopefully you enjoy that. Now let me give you some hints about what to do with this one. Sorry, I'm scrolling up so fast here. Okay, I want you to notice a couple things about the melody that I wrote here, starting in measure 5 for the tenor saxophone. Notice how I actually don't have every beat covered. I actually have some rests in there, don't I? So that's an important thing about music. Sometimes we think that we have to have notes going the entire time, but we actually don't. We can use rest, and they are very effective in a lot of ways. One of the things I did on this one, I started the melody off on beat 2. So I actually started with a rest, didn't I? And then I come in on beat 2. Now, the other thing that I'm doing here is I'm using a what we call a C pentatonic scale. It's going to be 5, well, we could use 6 notes, C, D, E, G, and then I use an A as well. I think I had an A right there, right? Yep. And I can also go up to the high C as well. So I will, that would be one other thing to do. Use your C pentatonic scale, 5 notes, C, D, E, G, and A. So it's essentially a C scale, but you're leaving out F and B. And so then when you come to the section where you get to include a melody here, what do you think you might do? Let's see, I'm coming in, da, 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 da. Okay, maybe don't even, on this measure, start off on beat 4. So actually I'm going to do this. And then here, I do that. And then here, let's see, I'm going to go and da, da. Let's do an 8th note. Now, can I do an F here? I probably shouldn't, right? If I wanted to use the C pentatonic scale. Oops, that's not what I wanted. And then I'm going to do a half note here. Okay. And then what about here? Next measure. Should I start with a note or a rest? It's entirely up to you, but one of the things we can do with this is, there we go, is we can play around with it in ways that we have space in our melody here. So even there, you know, right, I might want to go to C or something like that. There's all kinds of possibilities for this one, and I'll let you be creative with it. Let's hear it from right here, and you can kind of hear where my melody goes. But listen how I add space with those rests. So this is starting off with my melody, and this is where your melody would come in. And I didn't finish it up there. That's your job to finish it up. And then what you might want to do is you might want to take, this new melody here that you wrote in. I would, you can actually select more measures if you hit the shift bar and select. And obviously I didn't finish it up, but you hit copy, and you can go to that in section that we would do, and right here, there it is. See how I put it in there? I want to, let's see, I'm going to do that as a, oops. A quarter note. There we go. Anyways, that's what I would, one of the things I would recommend for you on this one. Have fun with it. The big ideas on this one, make sure that you're using rest in there, and also just stick with that C pentatonic scale. 5 notes, C, D, E, G, A, and you can do high C if you want. Leave out F and B. No Fs or Bs in your melody, okay? Have a great time with this, and leave any questions you have in the comments on your score, and I'd be happy to answer them. Bye-bye.